Inmate, prepare for cell extraction. Do not resist. I will not warn you again. Say, man, y'all some fuckboy shit. I ain't going nowhere, man. I ain't going nowhere. Turn up then. Turn up. Do something. Do something. Punk ass pig. Y'all ain't doing nothing. Take him to the hole. Coming up next, I'm going to tell y'all this true crime prison story about an inmate that gets hit with a non-lethal round that, well, turns out to be just a little bit more lethal than anybody could have ever thought. Stay tuned to your boy on the Prison Talk Show. What up, what up, what up? We are back. Who am I? Jersey Street Corner, and this is the Prison Talk Show, people. So let's get into it. But hold up 1 minute. Before we get right into it, I gotta give a special shout out, a special thanks to the individuals that have shown love and sent out a super chat. I appreciate that more than you can imagine. Thank you. Thank you for rocking with me, y'all. And for all of the likes and subscribes, I appreciate y'all so much. Keep rocking with your boy. Keep rocking with the channel. And like I have said before, these stories will get more and more diabolical. Now, I have plenty of them in the vault. And that leads me to another topic. Quick half-minute topic. I have some stories in the vault. Questionable stories. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop some teaser thumbnails in the community. And I want y'all to vote on them when y'all see them. If y'all want to see those stories, y'all vote yes. If y'all not interested in seeing those stories, y'all vote no. It's simple as that. And determine which one I get put up there will be by, the likes and dislikes. So let's get it, y'all. Let's get it. Now, I know you saw the thumbnail and y'all like, dang, for a non-lethal round, that sure looked lethal to me. Well, y'all, we gonna get into it because these police, these COs, they have no morals, y'all. They think because a wooden baton supposedly can't hurt you that bad is okay to use, or even a wooden baton with metal in the middle of it. Yeah, they got them too, and they got the nerve to put rubber around them. Them joints break bones, y'all. Now, in the prison, it is customary for there to be rubber rounds available for the officers if the inmates cut up and they get there. What I mean by rubber rounds, it's supposed to be a non-lethal bullet that you can get hit with and still live without a vest. Now, this might be true in some instances, depending on where you're aiming at. Now, if you're aiming a non-lethal weapon at a very sensitive part of an inmate's body, well, you're intending lethal. You're not intending that projectile to just take them off course. You're trying to harm them. I've seen inmates get tore up with rubber bullets for not respecting the officer's wishes. Now, y'all, it comes down to this. If an officer whoops out one of those pistols or shotguns with those rounds in it and tells you a direct command, inmate, get down on the ground and assume the position. You're going to the hole. Now you want to kick up. You want to kick back. Oh, they not having that, and they not going to play with you either. They might ask you 2 times. After that, the next time you move or do anything other than what he told you to do, he popping off. And he popping off to put you down. He want to make you scream and squirm. Yeah. So, a lot of inmates, they get caught up in the I'm the big tough guy syndrome. And I'm not going to listen to authorities. And they end up getting whooped out bad over something stupid. Like cursing at an officer or just Something real dumb. I seen inmates get their jaw cracked open over something as simple as cursing the inmate out and then having an officer come by to intervene, and then he kick up on the officer more than he was even kicking up on the damn inmate, and end up getting whooped out, sent to the hole, and hurt up. Yeah, y'all. They don't care, because when you're on the way to the hole, you got plenty of time to heal them fractured bones. They'll let you sit back there and heal up by yourself. No doctor, nothing. Be lucky if you get into a cell with running water. But y'all don't hear me, though. Y'all don't hear me. Now, when I tell y'all what I saw happen to this one inmate in a cell, this wasn't on the big yard. This wasn't, in a wide open space. This was close range in a cell, y'all. We talking, this incident I'm about to tell you about happened somewhere between 10, maybe 12 feet apart. That's how far apart the projectile was from this inmate. And when I say it did so much damage that this guy was never the same again, well, we're going to get into it as usual. Now, this story is going to be about a guy named Sin. He was one of those real loud, noticeable guys. He wasn't a small guy, so he definitely stood out. And he was always making his presence known. A real problem in the pod. At least if you ain't appreciate all of that rah-rah all the time. Now, this guy Sin came into prison with a 10-year bid for armed robbery. Within 1 year, he turned that 10-year bid into 25 years, y'all. So you already know he's a problem. Now, how did he do that? Well, he got a few infractions, got caught a few times. He done, gotten a lot of altercations with inmates, and it's rumored that he's even poked the CO up and caught an attempted unaliving, and that's what gave him an extra, 15 years. Anyway, this guy is bougie. Now, he's not a Muslim or anything like that, but he doesn't eat pork. And he's supposed to have a special diet, supposedly. Now, I don't know if he worked that out with the warden or his doctor said it was for his health. I don't know what the case is, why they was even entertaining the fact of giving him a special plate when he wasn't claiming to be Muslim under a religious law. So the COs and guards, they didn't respect it. They didn't give a damn about what they gave him. He got a plate just like everybody else, and that was that. Now, this dude, he rarely got to come out. He was one of the guys, like, the pod was split up between some of the cells came out, regularly, and some of them were straight lockdown. They just watched everybody else come out, and that, that was just their life, 23-1. And that wasn't the whole. That was just because of their charges and because of their violent backgrounds. So, obviously, with the rumor of him poking up an inmate and an officer, he was kept in lockdown most of the time. So they didn't really give a damn about all the noise he made. He'd kick up every time they walked by the cell. Hey, guard, man, I don't eat this shit, man. I don't eat no bologna, man. And he'd be tossing his food on the floor, refusing to eat. Hey, bring me some peanut butter and jelly or something, man. Come on, man, stop playing. I'm hungry, man. And they just look at him like, you threw your food on the floor. You ain't hungry. You're like, oh, come on, man. I'm supposed to get a special plate. What's so special about you, inmate? Back up. You're like, man, fuck you, officer. Man, bump you, man. And you're like, all right. Officer, keep on moving. And this would go on day after day. And being that he in the cell by himself, because he's so dangerous, they don't care what he doing there. He could act up, jump around, act the fool. But I'll tell you one thing. They'll tell you once, and that's probably the only warning you're going to get. Back up away from these bars, or I will mace this cell. Yeah, now if they mace that cell, you're locked in there. There's no getting away. I don't care if you hide your eyes in the sheet, try and put water on the towel, whatever. You are not escaping that mace. And it's going to burn. It's going to burn like wildfire all up in your nose, your mouth, your eyes. And you're going to regret every last thing that you said to that officer. And oh yeah, you best to hope it stops there. Well, this guy, Sin, he like to push the envelope, y'all. He just don't stop. He's one of those aggressive inmates that think that, you know, what he says matters. He thinks that the correctional officers really give a good damn about him or what he says. Nah. And time after time, they gotta show him. This man done been maced repeatedly. And it just don't stop. They'll whoop him out, take him to the hole, let him heal up. Next thing you know, he back in the pod. Because they got a rule that you can't have inmates in solitary confinement for excessive times. So they got to let him out after a few months all the time and put him back. And then he mess up again and end up going back again. But this last time that he messed up, well, I gotta say, this was one of the worst cell extractions that I've ever seen. Old boy Sin, he made a Glock dookie, y'all. And y'all already know how the story goes. You hit that CO with that milk box full of that dookie and piss. Oh yeah, you get them good right in their face to where it go right up their nose. You put a little hot sauce in there. And it go right up their nose, and it's burning, it's hitting their eyes, and all over the place. Yeah, y'all. That in itself is a violent crime that could warrant more time. You just possibly could have infected that officer with something. So now when his face break out and bumps and all types of nasty stuff, because you done splashed him with your stuff, oh, as soon as they get that picture, that's all they need for the judge to give you an extra 5, maybe 10 years for attempted M. Yeah, that's what they call it when you assault somebody with bodily fluids. And well, Sin, he just don't care. He don't give a damn about these officers. They won't feed him, so they get in the business. At least that's what he says. Now, as soon as Sin hit Officer Calhoun with that Glock dookie, bow! All up in his face. He could barely see. He's screaming this, what the hell was that? That shit burned! He's scrambling to hit his radio. Oh, inmate assaulting officer! Inmate assaulting officer! Lock down! Everybody, lock down! Get in your cell now! If you caught outside of your cell, you will be hurt! And now all the officers, they running in there. They rushing. As soon as he got in that speaker, y'all, they rushing. Now, they get to the pod and they find the officers scrambling on the floor. Now, Sin, he's still locked in his cell. His cell never got open. So, I don't know what he thought, but these officers came mad. Turtle Squad came with them clear, hard shields. They was spraying mace all in his cell, y'all. I mean, they was aiming all in his face. Now, it was pretty evident exactly what was about to take place. This man was about to get the worst beating that I ever saw in my life, because I don't think I've ever seen that many officers respond. I guess it was the fact that he said inmate assaulted an officer that made so many of them respond so quickly. Well, after they sprayed that mace, y'all, he still wasn't getting down on his knees. He was in that cell turning up. And come to find out, even though he was locked in there, he had a bone crusher in there with him, y'all. That's a big piece of metal that if you hit somebody hard enough with it, most likely it's going to break one of your bones. And it was kind of jagged at the end, so you could use it for a poker too. A blunt object, all rusted up. that thing will probably put somebody in the hospital for real, for real. If you don't unalive from the stabbing, then you're probably unalive from the rust going all up in you. If you ain't had a tendinitis shot. Now, they told him, get down on the ground. Inmate, we're not going to tell you again. At this point, they got fully loaded ammunition, non-lethal rubber bullets loaded into their weapons. And they're aiming it right at him. It's multiple officers. They warned him, y'all. They warned him, get down on the ground for cell extraction. He wasn't trying to hear it. He's spitting at them, telling them, come on with it. Come on with it. Turn up. Y'all want to do something? Let's do it. Let's do it. Y'all don't want no smoke. Y'all don't want no smoke with me. Well, y'all, they started letting shots off. Now, picture being locked in a cell with nowhere to go. And 4 officers are just popping your cell with rubber bullets left and right, hitting them in the legs, the arms, the chest. And well, y'all, at that point, I guess those officers wasn't playing games anymore. One of those officers aimed that thing right at his face and popped him in the face with a rubber bullet, y'all. And well, it got a little more lethal than he thought. Sin dropped to the floor. Immediately, face popped open, gushing red stuff out the side of his face. It looked like a crater had just erupted on the side of his face, like a huge pimple. Yeah, it was disgusting, y'all. Now, they dragging him out of the cell. He's over there, making all this noise and stuff. Everybody quiet, just watching. Like, damn, look at this dumb ass effer. Why he ain't just get on the ground, man? Why he ain't get on the ground? He knew they meant business. They wasn't having it, y'all. It didn't stop there. They kept beating him all the way out of the pod. After they got him out that cell, they made sure he wasn't going to make any sudden moves or try anything else. They kept beating him all the way out, y'all. Whooped him out in front of everybody. Took him to lockup. And well, that was the last time anybody ever saw Sin. We don't know if he got transferred out of the prison. We don't know what happened to Sin. If he had some, life injuries from that wound to his face. But he was barely conscious when they dragged him out of there. And his face was split wide open on the side. It looked crazy, y'all. There's no amount of plastic surgery that's going to be able to cover that up. And he probably wouldn't be able to afford it anyway. And it's something that's going to get swept under the rug because nobody's going to admit that they saw anything. And they're not going to even admit that it ever happened. For all they know, he slipped and fell on something in the prison. Maybe he hit his head on the side of a bunk or something. But the state will never accept responsibility for that crime. And yes, y'all, the correctional officers commit a large majority of the crimes committed inside of the prison. Believe it or not, it's not the inmates, it's the officers committing the crimes. So, when you think about somebody you know in prison, a loved one, a friend, and you think about them hitting you up for $20 once a month, go ahead and send that to them, man. You don't know what they going through. That $20 a month might be the difference in them getting their head beat in because they owe somebody. Or that could be the difference in them having protection in prison every week and not. So, do your peoples a favor and don't shun them away when they call home and ask you for $20 or $25 a month or maybe even every 2 months. It don't gotta be a lot, but everybody deserves a second chance. Now, as far as Sin, Well, I don't know how many second chances Sin already got, so I can't speak on his behalf. All I can say is the guy should have turned down just a little bit. He could have, kept it on high gear with the inmates, but he should have had a little bit more respect for them officers that had control over his life. It just seems like the dumb thing to do, to disrespect the very same people that control when you eat, when you sleep, when you go to yard, when you take a shower. Why would anybody do that? I guess it all leads back to mental illness, y'all, which is one topic that the state prisons refuse to discuss. Alright, y'all, listen. That's going to be it for this story. I really hope you liked it. Like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to hype this video, y'all. And as usual, this is the Jersey Street Corner Prison Talk Show. I am your boy, Jersey Street Corner, and I'm out. Corner from the prison story massacres. I be telling stories about the pushers and the traffickers, trying to keep the YNs away from the bandits. Don't eat the honey bun, don't drink the coke, don't become another victim or the butt of a joke. Don't close both eyes when you sleep or get choked. When you go to the mess hall, sit with your team, cause if you sit with some punk boy, you can get seen, then you can get dealt with. Prison justice like you never felt it. I be taking y'all back to stories of the helpless. That lava I spit, get your boy stories melted. I spit about prison justice cause I dealt it. And you a real hater if you can't respect it. All that bullshit, yeah, I'm here to check that. Any confrontation, I'ma show up. Bet that. You a real hater, I'm here to address that. When it comes to storytelling, I'm the best at. You a real hater, I'm here to address that. When it comes to storytelling, I'm the best at.